matches. But Roddy, I want to throw you under that proverbial bus. Does he win it? Does he have a chance, or does he actually win it?
I believe this man takes it 2-1.
All right, that's pretty bold and pretty good. And that's our guy in the top left-hand side. Coming all the way from Germany, it is HeroMarine.
We will often refer to him as Big Gabe.
Big Gabe. That's what he's to us.
For obvious reasons, of course.
Right, yeah.
In the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the Korean Protoss. Of course, not to be underestimated either. It is Zest.
Zest voted most likely to earn the most amount of money should he run a car wash for 5 years running here so far.
I thought you were going to go with like Time Magazine People of the Year.
They could get that one as well. Why not? He's going to go with his forward gateway here, but Zest, you know, we were kind of talking about this actually a little bit off camera for you guys. They were talking about how they think that HeroMarine needs to break from the mold, be aggressive, and get some early damage against Zest. I'm going to speak for Kevin because we were kind of talking about this personally. We feel it's the opposite, actually. Zest is really aggressive, but also he is so tight, so good about the early games in particular. It's later when the game gets a little bit more diversified and chaotic that you can see, yes, his fantastic micro, but maybe a little bit of macro slips. Whereas for HeroMarine, he's just so gosh darn locked down, steady. I think of him as a 3cc kind of Terran. If you can get to that mid game, if you can deflect a couple of aggressive moves, I feel like that's his best chance to win.
I totally agree with you, Jeff. Zest is the kind of Protoss that will attack you anyway. And like, if you have to compare it to some of the European Protosses out there, I would say DNS or a Mana or even Goblin as a new school Protoss player. These are the kind of Protosses that if Terran opens up a little too aggressively, they get a little reckless, they lose 4 Marines, a Medevac and a Cyclone. They've got a proxy gateway on the other side of the map, they warp in 3 extra Stalkers, and the game can just end there. Like, if I was the coach of HeroMarine, I'd be like, obviously if you want to be aggressive with a mine drop, that's fine, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you make it to a certain phase in the game where you get your 2 Medevacs of Stim Bio out and maybe some tanks, some Widow Mines, and take the game from there, because Zest is such a hyper-aggressive, heavy gateway unit type of Protoss in general that you don't want to expose yourself too much. Let him run into you.
We'll have to see if that ends up coming out as a strategy here, but already some kind of interesting building placements by Zest in particular. You would look at that and say, well, what exactly is being leveraged here? But a lot of the evolution of Protoss base design comes into play because of the meta, and right now it is not that uncommon for things like a Reaper or even later something like Hellions to try and run into your base, and this base design is made to prevent them from getting good coverage in there. The Hellions have to go fully around the Nexus for the most part if you block off below that pylon, and this map already is bad for Reapers, but now the Reaper has to go all the way around the expansion as well.
And this is already a very Zest thing to do. Of course, it's not super uncommon to see a Twilight console, but the majority of the top-tier Protoss players out there, they will open Stargate, right? They like to go for an Oracle, and then maybe a Phoenix, just to control the pace of the game a little bit, look for openings. Zest loves his Blink Stalkers, and he loves his Zealots with charge. Every now and then you'll see Resonating Glaives too, but he's the kind of guy that likes to get some Observers out, bunch of Blink Stalkers, snipe some Medevacs, run to the other side of the map, and just shove all those gateway units into the Terran defenses.
And already some little bit of light aggression coming out here, Marine with some decent micro. Does lose that Marine, but he finishes the CC, which is critical because again, a Stalker and Adept here are not going to destroy that structure. It's just going to be insignificant amounts of damage, but when you don't finish it, that actually is some damage off this light harass here. And we do see a Widow Mine coming out, as well as a Viking off the starport, interestingly enough.
Yeah, this is a little bit annoying for HeroMarine because he doesn't have a bunker, and obviously there's no ramp over here on Acid Plant, so he's always going to eat a couple shots. There is simply more micro potential. That's a nice grenade. That knocks one of those Stalkers down a little bit. At least the Widow Mine, I was going to say will burrow, but Zest does a good job in sniping it. The Hellion and Reaper, however, are faster than Stalkers, so that means one Stalker will go down, but it's still a pretty expensive trade.
But I'll tell you what, we can kind of already see the aggression of Zest paying off. That Viking is very likely because he's worried about like an Oracle opening or something like that, but we know it's just gateways and Blink Stalkers behind this.
This is so annoying.
In which case the Viking is not going to help. And with that Widow Mine already dying, the harass options are low. We do see a Liberator queued up here for HeroMarine, but he's going to get some bad news. The aggression's going to pour on pretty quickly. There's something coming across the map. Is that another Stalker or is it a probe? Because there is no pylon over here.
This is, I mean, soon with the tank out, that is a good pickoff. It's so nice to still have the Reaper alive because the Reapers are just a little bit faster than those Marines, and that allows you to get the final hit off. Now, finally, the Joker taken out, but now at least there is a siege tank, and the tank is the one unit that can obviously finally push these Stalkers back. I don't know how I feel about all of this. Like, on one hand, I liked it for Zest because there was so much potential, and he obviously picked off quite a few Marines. He got the Mine, he got the Viking. That's an expensive unit. On the other hand, things at home were a little bit delayed, and he lost a couple of Stalkers. And Stalkers are pretty expensive units to lose as well.
Well, it's a super fast third Nexus, double forge, so he's definitely leveraging kind of the mid-game timing here. And if you look at the other side of the map on that production tab, basically, there's no third CC just yet. There's no reactor on the starport, so it's kind of a question of where does HeroMarine go from here? If he's going to try to add add-ons, a third CC, I think it's lights out, he's dead. If he scans to get some information and sees that he needs to make something happen now, it's still a tough game for him, but I think that's his only chance, in my opinion.
It's just very hard to move out against a man with a lot of gateways, right?
I agree.
He's going to be able to warp in 8, 9 zealots at a time in the near future.
6 gateways going down.
Yeah, and tanks are just not that fantastic against zealots. This Liberator shows up, gets 2 workers, even gets a Stalker, so that's obviously quite nice, but that's about it. I actually think that HeroMarine's best call here is to sit back until you have a massive amount of bio units. If you move out with an army that's too small, you will get swarmed. You're gonna get swarmed by zealots.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think you take 2 tanks and 7 Marines and just try to go win the game, but I think he's actually gonna, I mean, that SCV, maybe it's just scouting, it looks like it is.
You know, worker-wise, this is really not bad. Of course, it looks bad because Zest is on 3 bases and stuff, but as a Terran player, to be even in workers, 6 minutes and 15 seconds into the game, any Terran would sign for that. Be like, yep, I'll take it.
Not bad. Let's see if he avoids detection from M30. Does. Observer's going to get a full look at the production here. And once you kind of make it inside that main and see no third Nexus, that's when you, or excuse me, Command Center, you start looking at other things too, like is it on site? Is it at the natural? If not, then I know what I'm facing right now.
I really like the reactor on the factory though. That means he's able to produce 2 mines at a time.
Okay.
And that's the kryptonite of Zealots, man. Zealots, they love tanks, but they absolutely hate Widow mines. So if HeroMarine makes a big push with roughly 40-50 supply of stimped bio, yeah, it's just gateway units. The thing is, Widow mines and Marines are excellent against gateway units.
Okay, so 4th Nexus goes down. It's not the end of the world, but that's definitely like a... You do not need that. If you know you're facing a 2-base timing attack, well, okay, there's going to be a weird 3rd CC behind this aggression, so it ends up being okay. But it's all about this first push. If it gets absolutely annihilated, HeroMarine's chances are pretty low.
I don't like this push. I feel like it came in a little bit too early. I don't think this army is that big. I mean, Zest's army is not massive at the moment either, but if Zest buys enough time for one more big round of warp-ins, he gets a few extra zealots. The Widowmine count isn't that high.
A lot of stalkers, though, Roddy.
Yeah.
That's a weird choice by him, I will say. It's not a huge medevac count, it's not a huge marauder count, but it's a decent number of marauders, only a couple tanks. I mean, I think Zest takes this fight. It's not looking good for HeroMarine, but the amount of stalkers there was a little bit questionable.
Yep, there's a single Immortal in the mix. The second Immortal is almost out. Zest, I mean, going up to 4 bases, starting 2 upgrades as well. I think I've seen a meme about this on Twitter universe. But I think it's good that HeroMarine doesn't just throw away the units. The strength of Zest's army is really gonna fall off the bigger the armies become. In this phase in the game, Zealots and Stalkers are sick. A minute or 2 from now, they're not that sick anymore.
So a little bit of a space push out here from HeroMarine where he's just trying to threaten him, see what happens. But as Roddy pointed out, not blinking. Zest takes the 4th base, ends up being at a decent time anyway. It's going to start getting saturated before the 3rd even lands for HeroMarine. He's got 4 Widow Mines approaching these bases, and he's going to hope to get something done here because so far it's been an untouched Zest economy. He's done all the aggression so far.
Yeah, but it's still only up 8-9 workers, right? Obviously, it's a good spot, but this is that kind of phase in the game I'd be like, Zest, you may want to take an extra simulator or 2, and you may want to throw down that Robo Bay or that Templar Archives, whatever. You know, you fancy it. This mine drop has gone unnoticed, and a lot of probes are going to go down here.
A little bit of damage on that medevac, because why not? They just kill anything and everything, but yeah, huge damage. 12 probes do die.
Look, this is the Zest that we were talking about. He is going to attack into HeroMarine, and if HeroMarine sits at home, come on, with all those Widow Mines, with Liberators, this is a good setup for the German Terran.
This could be the best chance here, and he actually picks up all the Widow Mines, by the way. Keep in mind as well, he queued up a photon cannon to go down there, but not the best of defense. It's going to come down to this attack over here on the left side, though. Zest is going to get spotted. He's not that up in supply. He's just marching forward. He sees the Liberators. There's no way he can think he can break this, does he?
Oh, it's Zest. He's going to go for it.
Is he going to go for it?
He's absolutely going to go for it, Jeff.
He's coming in here. The stim behind this is going to kite backwards. Is HeroMarine. He's fighting underneath the Liberators as best he can. The Zealots are getting pretty evaporated, and the Stalkers, again, very ineffective in that middle line. He's going to back away. Went into the fight, up about 10 suppliers, though, and comes out of a 10 out.
Widowmine dropping a natural, picked off 6 more probes as well. That was good enough for HeroMarine. Obviously, it was a little bit tough because the Zealots didn't have good upgrades. They had 2-2, but those extra mine shots, they hurt so freaking much for the Zealots. And suddenly, you look at this army of HeroMarine, you're like, okay, that's not bad.
He can't push out just yet. Look at the mini-map, though. There's actually no gas, and if he drops at the natural, he should see that at the third and natural, there's no gases, there's no AoE coming in anytime soon.
Those were some big tank shots, but the Marine count isn't that high anymore, but most of the Zealots have disappeared as well. A few more Neil Zealots come in, though.
And they're going to jump on top of that Bioforce, which doesn't have that many medevacs above it, and it's actually looking like Zest might be able to shove his way through here, and this is going to be one that haunts HeroMarine if he goes on to lose, as the Orbital is about, it's on fire, it's very close to dying. I don't see it. HeroMarine's going to tap out at GG. Wow, a missed opportunity. He was in a good spot. He pushes out against a Protoss that's got nothing but aggression on the mind and pays for it in blood. The counterattack after losing just those couple of units and that positioning ends up being GG for him.
If he has a few more Marines there in the mix, 1 or 2 extra mines, the Zealots don't do anything anymore, especially since he had Ghost now as well. That's just fantastic. You EMP those Zealots and the mines just completely destroy the Zealots from that point on. I'm with you. This was a Zest victory, but a missed opportunity for HeroMarine.
And it sucks too, because it's not like HeroMarine didn't have the information. Like I said, he defends that attack. So again, that's where the gears click for you and you're like, hey, I just held off a big timing attack. I should be way ahead. I should be able to push out and get this game done. That's not the case. But the Widow Mines are showing him there's no tech behind this. It was minimal saturation. Like each base was saturated, but nothing more, right? It wasn't oversaturated. No gas is taken.
You just wait. You just wait as a down. You get a slightly bigger bio ball. Because yes, bio balls are great against gateway units, but only if the ball is big enough that you just gun down those Zealots one by one before they get on top of your Marines. When HeroMarine moved out, I mean, there weren't that many Marines, the tanks are a little bit exposed, and suddenly it becomes really awkward. And if there is one thing that Zest has, it's that killer instinct. He sees an opportunity, he will blink on top of tanks because he has no fear at all.
Well, a lot of HeroMarine's army was set up supply as well, right? Like Widow Mines above ground, that doesn't matter. Liberator's not set up, that doesn't really matter. And of course, the Bioforce is, as you said, at best when it hits a certain kind of turning point where it's melting DPS faster than it's absorbing any damage. So, again, that's a missed opportunity for HeroMarine, a very nice, close first game. We expected the aggression from Zest. We got that aggression. We were expecting a little bit more solid play from HeroMarine, but man, we're on the biggest stage on Earth, guys. This is the World Championship of WCS. These guys are fighting for life-changing money, and perhaps for a lot of them, more importantly, the honor of being the world champion and winning that big, big tournament that only a few have won before.
You know that this man is getting a lot of support from his hometown in Germany. Everyone in Cologne is always tuning in when he plays. It is HeroMarine.
Taking that first game with some decisive timing attack oriented play from Korea, it is Zest. Recently signed with a new team, taking his way to BlizzCon. Life is good for that Protoss player.
I mean, if I would wake up and I look in the mirror and I
look like that. It's a good day. It's a good day.
Life is pretty good, Jeff.
The fact that he's able to clothe himself and get out of the house in a timely fashion is incredible. A lot of self-control with him.
I'm very excited. I mean, that's such an interesting game one that leaves us with plenty to talk about. Because on one hand, you can be like, hey, that was a nice game for HeroMarine. He can feel good about that. He can absolutely match the level of play that Zest will bring. And he should be capable of dealing with those kind of builds. And then the flip side is, yeah, but he should have won that game. So it's like, do I feel good about that game or not? Well, I don't know.
To your point, Kevin, for me, I mean, everyone's different how they absorb this. We know that Big Gabe tends to be a little bit on the salty side. I think immediately you take that and, as you said, you're like, oh, okay, I can beat him. He's not so much above me. In fact, I should have won that first game. That game, to me, is you're laying at bed at night tonight and you're like, oh my God. If I go into game 2 1-0, maybe I'm not playing for my elimination on Sunday, you know, that kind of thing. So we'll have to see how he's able to bounce back. We have some more of that interesting build design here for Zest as expansion. He's putting the gateway down there. That does get the Adept out a little bit earlier, which, as we saw, was a really nice result. I think we can all agree Zest maybe doesn't come out super far ahead in the early game of the last game, but it was definitely favorable to him. And it's chaotic and crazy enough that for a player like HeroMarine, I like it. If you just like say, hey, HeroMarine, I'm not going to touch you for 7 minutes. That's a scary game. The guy's got really good economy, but if you kind of mess with him early on and show him different looks, I think you can get into his head a little bit.
Nah, you're right. Terran build orders in general are very tight as well, right? So as soon as Terran players are forced to pull SCVs a couple times back and forth, they can mine from the low ground. things just get thrown off very quickly. And even though what Zest did, it's really funny because it often looks like, wow, that's so freaking good for Protoss. But what people don't see is that they're chrono boosting the gateway non-stop.
Right.
If you're chrono boosting the gateway, then your probe count doesn't go as high as it normally goes. So these kind of openings, they are meant to do damage. And this is really solid, by the way. Look how fast that Adept made its way to the other side of the map. It's going to be hard for HeroMarine to finish up this command center.
And it's actually a Widowmine coming out, which again is interestingly not the best here. I liked the Hellion last time, but then the Stalker, of course, complicated things.
If you put it on top of the ramp, it's pretty good. He just needs to maybe bring an SCV or two.
But you'll never finish the command center.
No, I think if you pull some SCVs with the 2 Marines and then you get the miner positioning, I think it's okay. But just pull more than 1 SCV. I don't like where he put that with a mine. Now you reveal the fact that he already has a mine. I think if you want to finish up the CC, you got to go all out. Pull 3-4 SCVs. Be okay with losing 1 or 2.
He's going to do just that. Widowmine getting kited backwards. And it looks like he will be able to shove him off this ramp and at the end of the day, finish the command center with only taking a little bit of damage.
Now what you have to worry about is that he doesn't use the Adept to soak up that Widowmine. He could also shade on top of... oh no, he's going to try to use the on-barrel, and that's exactly what he does, but the mine will...
Oh, the repair just saves it. And now you'd have to lose a whole Stalker to trigger that mine. So nice repair. Without the repair, that Widowmine dies, and this game might spiral even further out of control and get really bad for HeroMarine. As it stands, he's down in workers, but as Roddy would point out, if I let him, that's normal at this stage of the game. But also keep in mind, again, those chrono boosts were going on the gateways. So all in all, not bad for HeroMarine. A pretty decent defense here.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse. And once again, this is Dreamcatcher as well. There is a ramp going into the natural, so you don't have to worry too much about this Stalker aggression spiraling out of control. What we just saw there in the opening phase of this game was really cool. Now, obviously, if you're tuning in StarCraft, you're like, oh, what are you going crazy over? It's just a lot of micro tricks that are being used back and forth. Zest wants that Widowmine to shoot at the Adept, while the Adept finishes up his shade, so it doesn't shoot at all. HeroMarine knows that that's what Zest wants to do, so he unbarrels the mine. Zest anticipates that, so he shoots at the mine, and then HeroMarine repairs the mine. So it's really fun to see, like, you know, both players thinking the right things and obviously executing the right plays as well.
BlizzCon is truly a treat for everyone. These guys are, like we were talking about, fighting for the biggest trophy in the game. But for us as commentators, this is like the culmination of the best throughout the year facing off. Every single series could have been a finals of any other tournament. And it's been really fun that way. Zest is going to go up to that fast third Nexus, double Forge behind that. If this was a best of 333, you would see a lot of that. That's kind of the Zest style. Of course, it's like any other Protoss, so mix in stuff, but you're expecting a lot of gateway units. Maybe not as many gases taken. It's a Protoss that I would say Roddy, if you watch the stream, might mold himself a little bit after. HeroMarine on the flip side is kind of like every other Terran in this matchup, where it generally ends up the same way. It's a bunch of bio, medevacs, Widowmines, maybe a couple of tanks pushing out, but how we get there could be a Widowmine drop, could be a Hellion drop. And I was going to ask this question because with how good that Widowmine drop was earlier, I wonder if he just returns to that. 4 Widowmines, I push out and I drop you a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely possible, but that was obviously a different drop, right? That was not your regular 4 minute and 40-second kind of drop. That was a drop after HeroMarine also moved out to create some space on the map. But I still thought that initial move out was very risky, because that bio army was small, there's an observer in the mix. But with a tank, I think HeroMarine should be fine.
Yeah, just picking off the Widowmine's nice. For some shield damage, not bad.
I just wonder if HeroMarine makes the same move out as he did on Acid Plant. If Zest capitalizes on that, I think Zest is going to take the gold. I mean, who needs gas units? Who needs splash damage in 2018, Jeff?
No, bodies over bullets. That's been a thing in war and strategy games since the beginning of time. And then also just little things that Roddy was pointing out earlier that I really like. The Stalkers in the front here, is that a threat to anything at all? No, but if you pick off a medevac, or if you see the army pushing out, or a Widowmine at the front, that little bit of damage can be what separates a player like a Zest from a HeroMarine in future battles to come. We're even picking off a Marauder here.
Seems like HeroMarine might actually go for a 2-base all-in, right? He may not throw down a 30cc at all. He may just stay on 2, because he's still only at 40.
He threw it down quite late last time, though, Roddy.
Yeah,
it was as he was pushing out. But to your point, this looks like a bigger force than last.
Yep. The only thing he doesn't really have is Widowmines, and that's still the most important unit, if you ask me. Of course, Marines are very important as well, but Marauders, they have a tough time in general dealing with Zealots. Tanks against Zealots, I mean, sometimes they can be awesome, but there's also moments where they backfire. Now he is reinforcing with Widowmines, but the first fight is going to be a little bit tricky. Sure, HeroMarine's army is bigger, but he's going to need a good position. He's going to be able to find a safe spot for these Marines to fire away at those Zealots.
And to your point, this map is actually huge on positioning. There's a lot of kind of cliff facing, overlooking an expansion that you can take advantage of. And then it becomes, is Zest strong enough of will, basically, to say, no, I cannot engage right now. I need to wait a couple of seconds, then engage?
Oh, and I do like this for HeroMarine now, because this latch is very annoying for Zealous to deal with. The tank's going to siege up. Zest is going to go for it, but
Zealous in the back.
There are mines in the mix as well.
Yeah, positioning not great. Zealot's going to jump on top as they do get the one tank. Immortal's going to flank here and get the other tank. And it looks like with the Zealots kind of absorbing the damage in the front, only 2 medevacs, one of which gets quite low. The force is pushed back for now, and with the tanks out, the siege is gone. So now, HeroMarine just needs to win the straight-up fight.
Yep, he has a few more mines in the mix now as well. The last few Zealots going to run forward. The moment that the Protoss army is disengaging, that's always nice for Terran. HeroMarine should keep up the pressure, I think, though. Falling back right now, if he gives Zest more time, I understand that he's worried. He feels maybe he's running out of steam because he lost a couple of the mines. The tanks are gone, but I still felt like the moment that the Zealot count becomes very low, that's when there is so much micro potential in this Terran army.
It's just more production. There is no third command center. I've been scouring all over. Does he?
Yeah, he had one. He was building one.
No. Kevin.
What? He canceled
You're thinking a game ago, my man.
No. I saw one. I'm not crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. If you believe Kevin is crazy, I need you to type in the chat crazy right now. But either way, he's loading up, and that's his best chance because this gold base is getting saturated. So as time goes on, yes, it was favorable and a good fight for HeroMarine, but he's going to quickly get lapped here. This is a massive economy out on the map. Upgrades are 2-2 versus 1 attack for HeroMarine.
Yep,
but that's terrible.
No, for Stalkers, I mean, Stalkers are still just Stalkers in the end, right? It's the Zealots where things become very complicated, especially with a Guardian Shield. Guardian Shield is massive for Zealots when they are already ahead in upgrades against Marines.
He's got 3rd armor queued up, by the way. If the game extends... I was just going to say, if it extends, but let's just go ahead and pretend I didn't say that.
But Widow Mines don't care about upgrades, though. How many mines do we currently have out? I see 2 more on the way. With 8 mines against 20 Zealots, I know it doesn't look good upgrade-wise, Jeff, but there is a chance. I'm not liking the position of HeroMarine, but I think there is a tiny bit of hope.
It's going to have to be right now. All the mines are in the front. The Zealots jump on top of everything. There's the blink to the left. The Bioforce is shooting down a lot of Stalkers. The Zealots are evaporating. Medevacs hold. And with the Stalkers engaged over here, they're going to die. But this Bioforce has been whittled down. Army supply still in favor of HeroMarine. He's going to kill that Immortal.
It's the next wave of Zealots that's going to be so tough to deal with. There is
no Widow Mines.
More
couple, I think.
3. Yeah, he's got a couple, but I mean, there's so many bases, right? Which base does HeroMarine attack? Because HeroMarine has basically no income. He only has a couple of SCVs left at home. So picking up a base here is nice, but +3 armor is even on the way, Jeff.
And it will finish. This base is going to die, and to your point, that just means Zest says, fine, I'm on 3 bases over here. In fact, he's just going to settle for killing the probes. It's probably the right call. Because as you point out, Roddy, it's all about now. Another Widow Mine gets low. It doesn't quite get picked off. This Observer, by the way, is just cheating. And now a couple of force fields go down. Unit's going to get picked off. Sloppy control here as 1 medevac gets picked off. A 2nd medevac getting low. It does get picked off as well. The upgrades are so good. That's it. 2 medevacs down. He's going to bio through here. I can't see it.
Loving the sentries here by Zest. That is just brilliant. He's going to shave off a few more of these bio units. Look at the concave of all these Stalkers as well. And in these numbers, the Stalkers will make the difference. I think our Korean Protoss Zest will start his BlizzCon run with a 2-0 victory over HeroMarine.
Calm, cool, collected, and chiseled is Zest as he's going to get up and shake the hands of HeroMarine. Some good ideas from HeroMarine. Like I said, that first game's going to haunt him because really, I hope you guys know this, we're not overhyping this. He really had that game. Positionally, it was so strong for him. It was basically just falling for the trap of pushing out mid-map that cost him it for the most part. This second game, though, nuh-uh. Zest was all over it. You're going to pull the boys. That's cool. It used to work in 2000, about 12 now, not as much, especially when there's a 4 upgrade advantage in the end of that game.
I love how Zest took 8 bases and 6 gases in his entire series. I love it. That's some Protoss magic right there, man. I mean, it's a style that is definitely not unpredictable. You know that this kind of stuff is coming out of Zest, but his execution is just in general so good. He's really good in controlling the pace with his Stalkers, shaving off units, knowing when the push come in, and he's also good in like not sending all Zealots at once. He sends them wave after wave.
Multiple angles. It's also a good cookie cutter opening though too, because it's not to say that he can't then throw down 6 more gases and end up with 3 Robo Colossus or Disruptor or Templar. It's just a nice opening. He didn't show much. He dominated. He got the job done. We went into this knowing that Zest was the favorite player. We felt like HeroMarine had some chances. Kevin and I even kind of said, we're like, I really think he could have done it. And looking at how it came down, it really is just a difference in a couple of choices. But in these these short best of threes at this giant stage. That's all you got. If you make that one slight mistake, it ends up costing you a lot.
Don't forget, this is just the opening match of Group B. The winner of this match, obviously Zest, will move on to play against the winner of our next match. That's going to be SOS versus Serral. Now, HeroMarine doesn't have the best track record anyway against Serral, so maybe he's like, you know what, we'll start here, Jeff. We'll start here.
Well, Roddy, it's always a pleasure, but I want to hear from those boys on the couches over there analyzing the matches in Maynard on the moon base. You guys, how you doing?
That's right. Thank you very much, guys. Maynard on the moon base. There you go. I don't have a clue what that was about.
It didn't come through my in-ear, so I'm not in.
That's a shame.
It was the classic, I think it was the GSL versus the World special cast which you did, Maynard, which was being referenced there.
Yeah, no, I did start that cast from the moon, but then all of a sudden my headset spun the other way around, and all of a sudden everything was working fine again. So teleported into Korea.
There you go. Regardless, Zest is victorious here after putting on a lot of pressure early on there against HeroMarine in both games.
Yeah, and you know, it was that moment where Zest is so scary with those early Stalker pressures. He's one of the players who just loves doing this. And HeroMarine weathered it really well in that first game. I was really impressed. Like from the start, I was like, oh, you know, I was saying in the pre-segment, I didn't want HeroMarine to just sit back like that, but he defended well, repairing his landed Viking in the second game, repairing the Widow Mine with the SCVs, and he managed to be in an okay position, but I mean, Zest is just so decisive with that style. He doesn't take extra gases. He goes for the masses of zealots and, you know, pounces any moment of weakness. As we saw in that first game, HeroMarine went for the counterattack.
Sure.
Got caught out. The tanks were unsieged. The Liberators were unsieged. And a bit unfortunate because game one was looking very good up to that point for HeroMarine.
Yeah. It's a little bit easier, I suppose, even to hold that kind of aggression that was coming out in the second game as well, because it's Dreamcatcher, you've got a ramp, you've got a little bit more available to you, Todd.
Yeah, but I feel like the work that was put in before that was always amazing as well, like from both players.
Right.
Zest in particular, like Zest and Stalkers, like it's hard to name a more iconic duo. Like he's been making them forever. I remember so many games on King Sejong Station where he was opening Blink Stalkers and just right out killing Terrans, where against any other Protoss they would have just held. So just really, really impressed with him. And the fact that he played like such strong build orders, like a bit of a Roddy build in game one, you know, like 4 bases, 3 gases, mass charge loss. Just a little bit sad to see HeroMarine move out too early after he had a nice hold. Because I feel like if he had waited a bit more, maybe even gone for something like Ghost, he might have been fine in that game.
Well, we can talk more about it in a moment. For now, let's head over to our interview as Hajison is ready with Zest.
Thank you very much, James, and congratulations. I'm here with Zest after a clean win against HeroMarine. And you know what? This is your 4th participation to WCS Global Finals, and it was his first. So were you feeling confident? And did the match go as you expected? 우선 우승 너무 축하드립니다. 이제 주성욱 선수는 이제 4번째 출전인데 히로마리는 첫 번째 출전이었어요. 그리고 전적을 보니까 4대 0으로 이겼더라고요. 그래서 좀 더 자신감이 있었는지 그리고 이제 경기가 예상대로 흘러갔는지 궁금합니다.
일단 제가 4번째 참가이긴 해도 블리즈컨 때 항상 좋은 성적을 못 거둬가지고 항상 좀 되게 아쉬운 성적이었는데 이번에는 꼭 좀 높은 곳에 올라가고 싶고 그 히어로마린 선수랑 상대 전적은 앞선데 되게 좀 박빙의 스코어로 이겨가지고 좀 쉽지 않을 거라고 생각했는데 생각보다는 쉽게 이긴 것 같아요.
So even if this is my 4th participation, actually I never went really far in this tournament. So I hope to go to do better this time. And against about HeroMarine, yes, I might be 4-0 ahead from the head-to-head score, but it was always close. So I was a bit worried, but I'm happy that I won. So next question. So you're back to WCS Global Finals after a slump last year. So how do you feel coming to this tournament? 작년에 약간의 슬럼프를 겪고 WCS 글로벌 파이널스 다시 출전하셨는데 심정이 어떠신가요?
작년에가 아니라 매번 항상 블리즈컨에 이렇게 왔었는데 작년에 안 오니까 그 소중한 대회라는 걸 인지해가지고 이번에 열심히 해서 오게 되었으니까 꼭 좋은 성적 거두고 싶어요.
So I was here for 3 times, and last year I missed WCS Global Finals, and I realized that was an important tournament. So that's why I worked harder this year, and I'm here, so I want to do my best. So next for the winners match, you'll have to face either Serral or SOS. Who would you rather face? 이제 다음 승자전에는 김유진 선수 아니면 세랄 선수를 만날 건데 누구를 더 만나고 싶으세요?
일단 두 선수 다 되게 쟁쟁한 선수라서 누구를 만나든 좀 쉽지 않은 승부가 예상되는데 그냥 누가 오든 예, 오늘 이겨서 꼭 8강 진출하고 싶네요.
So both of the players are really strong, so it's gonna be a hard match anyway. But I really want to win today so that I can advance to the next round. So thank you very much for the interview, and back to you, James.
Thank you very much, Hajsun. In the end, a bit of a cop-out answer there from Zest. I really wanted to know who was going to... It's actually, to be fair, it's a pretty hard choice if you really want... Who are you going to go up against? Cyril, who's kind of dominating a lot of the things, or SOS, who's unpredictable and wild. So I can understand, I guess, a little bit why a cop-out answer may come from that situation.
He wants to play SOS.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I think he was just trying to be nice. I think that with his PvP, he thinks he has more of a chance there. And his PvP, we mentioned it in the pre-show, it has been a bit of a weakness for him in the past. So
Yeah.
PvP for sure, he'll want that.
Yeah, we'll just kind of keep looking back a little bit on this series that went down, obviously. I think overall, Todd, glimmers of hope really are there for HeroMarine. I think that he kind of really brought the fight a lot in the mid-game, I suppose, to Zest when that was going down.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some good things. Like, I really feel like even Lambo, like if you look at Lambo, he was playing against Maru. Same here now with HeroMarine. He's playing as a very strong Protoss versus Terran player. It might be a 2-0. It might feel like it was like kind of one-sided games, and in a way it was. But there's definitely, you can look at those games and very easily say, if he had done this and this and this better, it could have gone so much better for him. So it really feels like there was just a few things missing to make the series more competitive. And if he's able to fix that for his next matchup, he still very well will have a chance here in this tournament. But it's a tough group here for him.